Someone in your life has already made you feel like technology is not for you. Maybe it was a sigh when you asked a question. Maybe it was a just Google it. Maybe it was watching everyone around you move faster with their phones and quietly deciding, this is just not my world anymore. And here is what nobody ever stopped to tell you. That feeling is not the truth. It is just what happens when the wrong people try to explain the right thing. Because right now, today, people older than you, people who have never owned a smartphone, people who still write checks, people who learn to type on a machine with no delete button, are using artificial intelligence to save hours every week, to protect themselves from scams, to stay independent, and to do things they genuinely thought they had missed their chance to do. And not one of them is a tech person. So before you decide this video is not for you either, I want you to stay for the next 4 minutes. Because what you are about to find out is going to reframe everything you think you know about who AI is actually built for. By the end of this video, you are going to have 3 things. First, you will have real proof, not opinions, not hype, that this technology genuinely works for people your age. Second, you will understand exactly why it has felt so confusing until now, and why that confusion was never your fault. And third, you will walk away with one sentence, a single, simple sentence that you can use today to get AI to help you with almost anything in your life. No setup, no technical knowledge, just that sentence. But here is something I need to say before we go any further, because if I don't say it now, the rest of this video won't land the way it should. Most AI tutorials fail people your age not because the content is wrong, but because they start in the wrong place. They assume you already know what a prompt is. They use words like interface and model and chatbot, like everyone just automatically understands them. And then, when you feel lost, the assumption is that you weren't paying attention or that you're not cut out for this. That assumption is completely wrong. Here is what those tutorials never account for. People who grew up before the internet learned to be careful with technology. They learned to read instructions fully before touching anything. They learned that if you press the wrong button, you might break something. And that instinct, that caution, does not go away just because the technology changed. So if you have ever closed an AI tool because it felt overwhelming, that is not a sign that you can't do this. That is a sign that your brain was protecting you from something it didn't fully understand yet. By the end of this video, you are going to understand it, and that caution is going to become one of your biggest advantages. Here is why. The single most important skill in using AI well is the ability to describe a problem clearly and completely. Not quickly, not technically, clearly. And that is something that genuinely gets better with age and experience. The 2-year-old typing 3-word prompts into AI is getting 3-word answers. The person who takes their time and describes their actual situation, their actual need, their actual context, gets something that feels like it was made specifically for them. That person is you, and I am going to show you exactly what that looks like. Her name is Margaret. She is 67 years old. She lives alone in a small town in Ohio. Her daughter lives 3 states away. Every Sunday for years, Margaret spent close to 2 hours on the same routine, writing her grocery list, cross-checking what she already had in the kitchen, trying to plan simple meals for the week, and trying to remember which of her 4 medications came with food restrictions because her doctor had mentioned something about grapefruit once and she could never fully remember which pill it applied to. 2 hours, every Sunday, and she still felt like she might be forgetting something. Margaret now does all of that in under 5 minutes. She types a message to an AI tool, the free version, on her laptop, describing what she needs. She tells it what medication she takes, what she already has in the fridge, what kinds of meals she likes, and what her budget is. And it gives her a full grocery list, a meal plan for the week, and a note about which specific medication should not be taken with grapefruit juice. She told her daughter, "It's like having a very organized friend who actually listens when you talk." Now, you might be thinking that Margaret must have some kind of technology background, that there must be something she already knew that made this easy for her. She owned a flip phone until 2021. She had never used a chat application in her life before this. The first time she tried AI, she typed her entire life story into the box because she thought that was how it worked. And it still helped her. That is what this technology actually is. It meets you where you are. It does not require you to already know something before it helps you. But Margaret is not even the most surprising example of what this looks like. Gerald is 74 years old. He spent his career as an engineer in the north of England, sharp, methodical, detail-oriented his entire life. In his late 60s, he started noticing something that quietly embarrassed him. He would be in the middle of a conversation, a dinner, a phone call, a chat with a neighbor, and a word would simply not be there. He knew exactly what he meant. He could describe the idea, he could feel the concept, but the specific word had gone somewhere he couldn't reach. It started making him pull back from conversations. He would avoid certain topics because he was afraid of that moment, the pause, the searching, the look on someone's face while they waited. Gerald now does something very simple when that happens. He opens AI on his phone and describes what he is trying to say, in plain English. He types something like, "What is the word for the uncomfortable feeling you get when you realize you have been wrong about something for a long time and have to change your mind?" The word is cognitive dissonance. He gets the word, he gets a simple explanation, and he gets back to the conversation. He told his son, "It does not make me feel slow. It makes me feel like I have a very patient friend who has read every book ever written." And here is what is genuinely important about Gerald's story. He is not using AI to replace his thinking. He is using it to support it, to fill in the gaps that age and time create in all of us. That is not a weakness. That is wisdom. Knowing what tools exist and choosing to use them, that is exactly what smart, experienced people do. And now we need to talk about why you have not been shown this before. Because the reason is more interesting than you might expect. Every major technology of the last 30 years was designed for one specific person: young, comfortable with risk, fine with breaking something, and starting over. Someone who had time to explore and no consequences if they got it wrong. That is who the internet was designed for. That is who smartphones were designed for. And that is who most AI tutorials are still being made for today. You were never the target audience. You were an afterthought, if you were thought of at all. And so the language used to explain AI is the language of that person. Fast, assumed, casual, full of jargon that nobody ever defined for you. But here is what changed. AI itself does not speak that language. AI speaks in plain English. It speaks in full sentences. It responds to the way you already naturally talk. You do not click through menus. You do not configure settings. And you do not learn commands. You describe what you need, the way you would describe it to a person. And the more specific and detailed and human your description is, the better the result you get. That is not a coincidence. That is the design. And it is the first time in 30 years that a technology has been built in a way that genuinely rewards the communication skills that come from decades of living and working and solving problems. The question is no longer whether you can use AI. The question is what has been stopping you from starting. And the answer for most people is one thing: they are afraid of doing something wrong. This is the part of the video where I want to be completely direct with you. There is nothing in AI that you can break. You cannot accidentally send a message to the wrong person. You cannot delete something important. You cannot trigger a charge on your account without being explicitly asked and agreeing. You cannot cause a problem for anyone else by using it incorrectly. The absolute worst thing that can happen is that it gives you an answer that is not quite right, and when that happens, you simply say so. "That's not quite what I meant. Let me explain it differently," and it tries again. It does not get frustrated. It does not sigh. It does not make you feel like you should already know this. It also tells you honestly when it is not sure about something. It will say things like, "I'm not certain about this," or "You may want to check this with a professional." It is one of the only tools that actively reminds you not to trust it completely, which, if you think about it, is a level of honesty that is genuinely rare. The risk of using AI is almost zero. The risk of not using it, of spending 2 hours every Sunday on something that could take 5 minutes, of pulling back from conversations because you can't find a word, of struggling through confusing letters and documents alone, that risk is real, and it is happening every day. Now, I promised you a sentence at the beginning of this video, and we are almost there. But first, I want to give you something that will make that sentence work even better. These are 5 real practical things you can type into any free AI tool right now and get genuinely useful help. No setup required, no account needed for most of them, just open the tool and type. The first one: "I just received a letter from my insurance company and I don't fully understand what it's saying. Can you explain it to me in plain, simple English?" Paste the letter in after that sentence and read the explanation. You will never have to decode a confusing document alone again. The second one, I need to write a message to my doctor asking about a change in my medication. I want to sound clear and polite, but also make sure they take me seriously. Can you help me write it? AI is remarkably good at helping people say difficult things in the right way. The third one, can you help me plan 5 simple dinners for this week that are easy to cook, affordable, and suitable for someone managing high blood pressure? A personalized meal plan in about 20 seconds, completely free. The fourth one, my grandchild keeps using words and phrases I don't understand. Can you explain what the phrase, whatever it is, means and where it comes from? Suddenly, you are the one in the conversation who understands. And the fifth one, and this is the one most people never think to try. I have been feeling a certain way lately, and I am struggling to put it into words. Can you help me figure out how to describe it? Then describe the feeling as best you can. Because sometimes the thing we need most is not information. It is the right words for something that is already inside us. And AI, quietly and without judgment, is genuinely good at that. Now, here's the sentence I promised you. This is the framework that Margaret uses, that Gerald uses, that tens of thousands of people your age are using every single day to get real, useful, personalized help from AI. It goes like this. I am a brief description of who you are and your situation. I need help with what you need. Here is some context. Describe the situation in your own words. Can you tell it specifically what you want it to do? That is the whole thing. That is the sentence. Here is what it looks like in real life. I am a 69-year-old woman living alone, and I am not very experienced with technology. I need help writing a reply to my landlord about a repair that has not been done. Here is some context. I reported a broken heating unit 6 weeks ago. I have sent 2 follow-up messages, and I have still not received a response. Can you help me write a firm but polite letter asking for a written response within 5 working days? Paste that into any free AI tool and read what comes back. That letter would have taken most people an hour to write if they felt confident enough to write it at all. AI does it in 10 seconds, and it does it well. Here is the truth that this entire video has been building toward. AI did not become easier for younger people. It became available to them first. That is the only difference. The skills that make someone genuinely good at using AI. Patience, clear communication, the ability to describe a problem fully, the wisdom to know when an answer doesn't feel right. Those are not skills that come from growing up with a smartphone. Those are skills that come from decades of living. You have been building the exact skills AI rewards for your entire adult life. You just didn't know yet that there was a tool waiting to work with them. You are not behind. You were just never properly introduced. Consider this your introduction. If you want the next step on how you can practically use AI, then look out for the next video. And if something in this video made something click for you, subscribing means the next one finds you instead of you having to go looking for it.